Now let's see how to write the select statement. So here I have a database table that is KNA1 which store the customer master record. So I will write a select query to select a record from this KNA1 table. So whenever you want to select the data from database table, either we have to declare a work area or the internal table to fetch the record. So let's first declare a work area, that is a structure data JS underscore KNA1. JS I am using for the global structure, and type will be KNA1. Let me declare the internal table also, GT underscore KNA1, that is type standard table of KNA1. So this is my work area and the internal table. Now let's write some select query here. So first I will show you how to use select single. A select single is used when from the database table if you want to select a single record. To select a single record you can use select single, or you can also use select up to one row. Select single is preferred to use select single. So let's say I want to fetch this particular record, first record in my internal work area. So how to write the select statement? Select, here I am writing a star. Star means I am selecting all the record, all the values of that particular row. Select single star from, as I mentioned here, like select, and the field we have to give. If I want to select all, I will give the star here, and from the table name into target. Okay, from my source is KNA1 into my work area is KNA1. Here after into I directly mentioned work area KNA1. Okay, if you want to select into table, then after into we have to use table. So I will give a where condition where Kunnar, that is the customer ID, equals to, I will pass this customer ID. Okay, so what I am doing here, I am selecting one single record from the KNA1 table where my customer ID equals to this one. Now as I mentioned here, like every record will have the size of equal to 0 if the operation performs successfully, or any other value other than 0. So what I will do here, I will write here if psi sub rc equal to 0, means if the operation is successful, else this will be the else part. Okay, so if records found successfully, I will write, and here I want to print the value from my table. Let's say the first field is KU and another that is Kunnar, and I want to print the name 1. Let's say here GS underscore KNA1 Kunnar, comma GS underscore KNA1, that is the name 1. And if record not found, then simply write, let's say no records found. Okay, here I will write no standard page heading, save, check, and activate. So here if I execute, so you can see here the customer ID and the name is printed because system has found the record with this particular customer ID. If I pass the wrong ID here, let's say I am adding Z here, so there is no customer record with this ID. 7 activate. Now if I execute, so you can see no record found because system has not found the record with this ID. So in this way we can use the select single to fetch a single record. Now here as I use star for, which means that I am selecting all the values from database, but in real time let's have a look at the KNA1 table. If you see the KNA1 table, there are 239 fields are there, but here currently I'm using only two fields. So generally in real-time programming, select only the required field from the database table instead of all, because when you declare the work area with the type as per standard table, it occupies the memory for all the fields. So from the point of performance improvement, select only the specific field which we required. So we'll see how to avoid star and declare the work area as per requirement. So I will declare work area first with types. Let's say begin of TP underscore KNA1. This is TP type, and here I am mentioning as select the customer ID, that is Kunnar, and type my KNA1 Kunnar. We have already seen how to declare this in the ABAP data dictionary. Second field I want as name1. Here type KNA1 name1. I want only those two fields. Here write end of block, end of TP underscore KNA1. Save, check. Now I will keep this as it is, and I will declare one more GS underscore KNA1, let's say -1, and type will be of this type, that is TP underscore KNA1. Save and check, no error. Now here, instead of select all, I will mention the field name. Select Kunnar, give a space, write name1 from this source into this work area. I will also show what is the importance of that into and into corresponding fields. So first I am selecting as into. Here I will write the new structure, that is GS underscore KNA1, where customer equal to this ID. Save, check, no error, activate, execute. Oh, let me check. Here I have to change to KNA1, that is a new structure. Activate again. Now execute. Now I can see again the same data is printed, but here this time instead of star I used respective fields which I want to print. So always follow this concept. Mention the field name which we want to select and required for our programming. Now here, as I mentioned, into. When you use the word into, what system do? It select the field from database, and in the same sequence it load the data into the work area. Even though my field name, if my field names are different, system will load the data into proper sequence. Like the first field will get transferred to the first field of my structure, the second field value will get transferred to the second field of my structure, even if the names are not matching. So let me show that. Here if I do, let's say Kunnar underscore 1, and here I'm writing the name 1 underscore 1, and I will print the same. This time here Kunnar underscore 1, and here name 1 underscore 1. Save, check, activate. Even though my field names are different, but because as I mentioned here into, system will load the value in the same sequence as it is selecting from the database. Execute. Again we can see the same value on the screen, even though the field names are different. This is because I use the into. Now if you use the into corresponding, if you use into corresponding fields of, this means that system will check this is database field Kunnar. System will find out the same field in this structure. If the Kunnar is there, then only it will move the value. Otherwise, system will not move this value. Similarly, for name 1, system will search the field with the same name, that is name 1, in this structure. And if it is if system find out the field name with the same name, this will move the value. And the sequence can be anywhere. If you are selecting from first is Kunnar, second M1, and even if in the structure it is in reverse order, but if you use the into corresponding, system will automatically transfer the values. So first let's check how system is behaving in this. Check the work area does not contain any corresponding components, because here I am selecting Kunnar in M1 and there is no corresponding fields, no similar name fields in this structure. So let's activate. It is a warning message. Activate. You can see no value because system has not found any record there. Okay, now let me again remove this, type name 1 and Kunnar, seven, activate. Now print. You can see that it is printing properly. Now let me change the sequence. Even if our sequence is not matching, but if you use the into corresponding, system will properly load the data from the source to the target system. Activate, executes, which is the same result. Okay, so in this way you can use either star, either the required field, either you can go with the into or into corresponding. So for the performance improvement point of view, always use the fields and always use the into instead of corresponding. That is a good programming practice. Even though we will get the same result, but always follow the good programming practice. Now I am making this as it is. Activate. Now here we have seen how to use select star and select field and select single. Okay, now let's see select into internal table. We also done with this, but till now we will fetch only single record. Now we'll see how to select the multiple records. So let me comment this. Here I am declaring my GT_KNA1 type is standard table of, let's say, TP_KNA1, and I also have the work area for that. Now this time, okay, let me declare one selection screen field, select option, let's say S_Kunnar for KNA1 Kunnar. Here declare table KNA1, save. Here instead of select single, I am adding a select Kunnar name 1 from KNA1 into table GT_KNA1, where my customer ID is Kunnar in S_ that is customer ID. Save, check and activate. No error. The first, okay, just test first. This is a field which is coming here. Assign the text, dictionary, activate, go back. Now here what I am doing, I am selecting the value Kunnar name 1 from KNA1 table into table KNA1 where my customer ID which is given in this range that I want to select. Okay, so once I select the value, I want to print that. So first I will print how many records I'll find. Let's say if psi sub RC equal to 0, if records are found, then first write psi dbcon, like how many record system has found, that only will print. Okay, so let me select some values from the database table. So here I am passing those three into select option, Control Y and press Control C. execute. If you want to paste the multiple values, click on this multiple selection and either press Ctrl V, or we can simply click here, that is upload from clipboard. Copy and F8, execute. Now you can see the system has found the 3 records based on the given selection criteria. Now instead of 3 actual record, if I am passing any record which is not there, let me pass, okay, I don't have any record with this ID. So in this case, system will fetch the actual value and one will be excluded from the list. Now this is, we just printed the count, so let me print the value. So how to print the value? Make a loop at gt underscore kna1 into gs underscore kna1 underscore 1 end loop. Always clear the work area, that is gs underscore kna1, and here I will be writing the same which I print earlier. Save, check, activate, execute. Let me again enter the same value, Ctrl Y, select the value, Ctrl C, clipboard, execute. You can see the 3 records are printed one by one, 1, 2 and 3. In this way we can select the multiple records from database using the concept of select name from table, and we'll write either into table or into corresponding fields of table. So in this way we're done with this also. Select joint, this I will show in the next section, and distinct in the actual programming. Now we'll see select up to n rows. Now let's say here I don't want to give any select options. Instead of this, by default I want to select some record from database table. This generally we don't use in real-time programming, but just practice we can see. I want to comment this. How to comment? Add double quote. Here I want to select Kunnar name from kna1 into table kna1. Here I will write up to 10 rows. Save, check, activate, execute. Now no meaning of this because I have written the query like select only 10 rows. You can see the number of records fetched as 10, and that all 10 records we can see here one by one. So in this way we can also use select up to how many rows we want to select. Okay, so this is also one of the format of select query. Now let's see one more last example of this select query, that is here I will use select and select concept. Now let's see how to write the select and select. I will comment all this. So what is select and select? Write select Kunnar name1 from kna1 into gs underscore kna1 underscore 1, where my customer in s underscore Kunnar, and here for every select statement, if you're not using select single and also if you're not using table, then we have to end that using a end select statement. Okay, if you're not writing the end select, and if you check here syntax here, it will give error, incorrect nesting before the end of program. The control structure introduced by select must conclude with end select. This is creating a control structure. Okay, so when to use end select? If you're not using single and also you're not using the table concept, then here you have to use end select. Here this form of loop Like here we have loop, and inside loop we are printing the values and ending with end loop. This work in the similar concepts. So here I will print the same value. Save, check, activate, execute. Now again I want the values to be copied there. Control Y, Control C. So we can also create a variant here. Let's say every time required for testing those selections value. So what I can do, what we can do, just paste the value here and click on this save icon, save as variant, test, and save this. So this is available for us. If I'm coming back, executes, so you can see this variant icon here. So all the test data will be there. So for doing the fast testing, it is good practice. Now execute. Again we can see the three record here, because I use select and select, and in between I have written the values. But generally avoid, if possible, using the and select statement. The reason for this is, for every select statement, this fire a query database table. Like here I pass 3 customer ID and I am using select and select. The first system fire a select query for the single one, and it fetches the record from the database. That record come into the work area, it is printed, then again it move to the next select query, then it fetch the second record. That record comes into the work area, record is printed and select, again it moves to the next one. So every time for each record it calls the database. So this is not a good practice. So generally avoid using and select. If you want to observe this, just put a breakpoint here. On this, either click here or click set delete session breakpoint. Execute. Select the variant. Run this. Now see how many times it is processing. Single step. It has selected the first value. You can see the value here, that is 332. It has printed the value, move to next, or this is second record. So like this, every time it is going to database and fetching the value. So from the performance point of view, this is not good practice. So in real time, avoid using select and select. So in this way, we're done with the select query of different variations. Okay, and next I will show you the select using join, that is the inner join and the outer join. Then after that I will show you the remaining part, that is insert, update, modify and delete. Thank you.